Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and we're going to go there. We're going to dive in. We're going to talk about Redo of HEALER. Redo of HEALER is so spicy. It's so spicy that the simulcast has been canceled in Germany, and they can't find an overseas publisher. They can't find an English publisher for Redo of HEALER. It's that spicy. So this is sort of, put Goblin Slayer and Shield Hero to shame this year. I will be honest, I have not watched this show. I've seen some bits of it. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy this show, so don't expect a review of Redo of HEALER here on Clownfish TV. But we do cover anime news, and this is big anime news because it seems like there is more and more of a call for censorship of anime. Now, this one and the manga, again, are pretty raw. This isn't something to be entered into lightly, and people were absolutely going to lose their shit. We'd actually heard about last year that they were doing the anime, and it's like, oh yeah, people are not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy with this show, and they certainly are not. They are not. In fact, some news outlets like Anime News Network, some are saying that they are preemptively gaslighting it and calling it awful. They're not going to talk about it too much, but they do. They do. We're going to talk about that. And so before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 173,000 subs. We do talk about anime, animation, comics, video games, whatever interests us that day. Try to put our own spin on it. Got to give a hat tip to Dat One Girl for kicking this one over. This is the mangaka, I believe. For overseas, I've received several inquiries about buying the English version of Redo of HEALER, but it doesn't exist. We tried to publish the English version, but it was refused by an overseas publisher. The situation may change if many requests reach overseas labels. It's getting a lot of buzz right now. Somebody's going to pick it up for sure. I'm sure. Here we have Raging Golden Eagle saying that Western publishers would absolutely censor the work. It'd be a lot better to release an English version in Japan or an English-speaking Asian country. We'd rather buy it from there than our own publishers. I think this is going to happen eventually. It seems like Japan is starting to wise up a little bit, that the West is not going to bring everything out over here intact, if they bring it out at all. And there is controversy attached sometimes to shows that really aren't that controversial. No Game, No Life has some creepiness in it, but I don't think it should be banned like they did in Australia. Goblin Slayer, of course, we had the media just completely losing their shit over it because a lot of the media outlets here in the West seem to think that everything is Studio Ghibli, and that is it. That is the end all be all of anime, and that's not the case. So I am going to go to Anime News Network, where we'll talk a little bit about them. They're not real happy with this show, but they're going to cover the bad news, I guess. Redo of HEALER author Rui Tsukayo tweeted in English that an English language version of the light novel series was refused by an overseas publisher. We talked about that. Another novel I wrote is in English, so be sure to check it out. This is called The World's Finest Assassin. You can get that from Yen Press. I'm sure, look, I'm going to be honest. Redo of Hero is getting a lot of buzz, good and bad, and it would be stupid for a publisher to pass on publishing this in the States, even if it's, 18 plus and they have to, sell it through Right Stuff or whatever, because it's going to make money. Rui's Redo of HEALER original revenge fantasy light novel series centers on a healer who is used and tossed around by his fellow adventurers on the assumption that healers cannot fight on their own. It sounds a lot like Shield Hero, kind of. Whenever he achieves the ultimate healing magic and heals the world itself, he goes back 4 years to redo his life. So he's going to go get revenge. So it is kind of, it's a revenge fantasy. The novel's inspired a television anime adaptation, which premiered on January 13th. Sentai Filmworks licensed the anime. The anime will stream online in both a TV broadcast version and a redo version. ATX will also air both a TV broadcast version and a complete recovery version. But not in Germany. According to Niche Gamer, Redo of HEALER simulcast was canceled in Germany. It was canceled. German publisher Anna Moon Publishing has canceled their simulcast release of Redo of Healer in order to avoid controversy. The cancellation was first reported by German anime news blog Anime to You. Anna Moon Publishing has dropped the series, and according to Anime to You, cited an aversion to controversy as their reason. This means that German fans of the series will need to find a new way to watch the show, which frequently features scenes of non-consensual things. It is non-consensual, violence and revenge fantasy. The cancellation of Redo of Healer comes as a surprise. Really? I don't think it's just a surprise. They've been gunning for this since before it even came out. Comes as a surprise since Studio TNK had the forethought to create 3 different versions with varying degrees of cut content. However, it appears that even the most tame of the 3 versions fell outside of Anna Moon's standards. In contrast, Sentai Filmworks has persisted in releasing the series on their streaming platform HIDIVE, where episodes continue to be simulcast every week. And yeah, Geeky, I don't think would like it if we watch this show. We did watch all of Rising the Shield Hero, and she loved it. It actually became one of her favorite anime last year, but I do not think she's going to be on board with Redo of Healer, given what I've seen of it. But yeah, I mean, this is, we're talking about the controversy of this show. They've been talking about it for months. That it was controversial, that it was going to cause problems, that it's going to make, on the plus side, it's going to make everybody forget about Goblin Slayer and forget about Rising the Shield Hero, because this one is so much more raw, for sure. Here we have Anime News Network leads the controversy. Belladonna Badness. This is Lindsay from ANN. The first thing I had to do at work this morning is deal with Redo of Healer. This isn't news to anyone who follows me, but the series is going to be exhausting. I'm absolutely going to judge whatever service picks this up, because it means I'm going to deal with these randos on a larger scale for most of 2021. Here are the screenshots. This is coming from, her right here. In the story, the main male character is abused and assaulted. He decides to get revenge by using magic to redo the last few years of his life by doing the exact same thing with former female party members. I'm deleting and locking this thread for now. Every comment section turns into 2 things. People gleefully awaiting others getting upset because the series is about a guy revenge, non-consensualing women, and it's going to teach all those folks who took issue with the slavery, misogyny, and Shield Hero lesson. I literally just said that. Like, Shield Hero is so tame. Giving that kind of violence a pass in the show because the author managed to write characters evil enough that they totally deserve it. No one here excusing the content or delighting in how any of this might upset people seem to have taken a moment to think about how doing this affects the real people in this community on Anime News Network or wider. Just don't watch it. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. It doesn't mean that it's not allowed to exist. Doesn't mean that I personally am into it. But there's a lot of weird shit coming out of Japan you don't have to watch. Perhaps you don't care. Those of us who aren't interested in this kind of content will watch it. Yes, of course, but absolutely wouldn't hurt any of you to think about how what you say as a not fictional person makes those here feel. Well, don't get into fights over it, but just don't watch it. You can take your discussions about why non-consensual is hypothetically fine. No, I don't think so. But they're cartoon characters. Okay. Go delight in how it might upset people elsewhere. The series is Anime News Network CEO weighs in. Series is certain to cause a lot of controversy, and Anime News Network welcomes the encouraged discussion of this anime and even the social issues that it touches upon. However, non-consensual is never an acceptable punishment. We will not tolerate any post that even remotely suggests it is. Furthermore, we will not tolerate posts that take glee in the controversy that this show is likely to cause, nor will we tolerate any posts that appear to be trollish or baiting in nature. Finally, we ask all posters to be considerate of those who may read these threads and have past traumatic experience. Failure to abide by this will result in immediate and permanent removal from our community. They seem to ban people a lot. Oh, this is Christopher McDonald. Okay. Discussion or criticism of this policy may be made in the feedback forum. ANN, here we have anime fans weighing in on Twitter. ANN already begins crying about Redo of Healer. This is a joke. It's not very creative or funny. If this is not a joke, a person's taste in fictional media does not define their nature or personality. Not every horror movie fan is a murder psychopath, for example. That is not untrue. Hey, it's Black Sage D. Follow him on Twitter. He's a smart guy. The fact that these anime journalists want to act like the moral tastemakers for what anime in the West should consume is absolutely disgusting and reeks of the same amount of moral puritanism that Christian fundamentalist conservatives did in the 80s and 90s. I would add to that some of the people that work at Anime News Network used to review hentai, and they actually had sites reviewing hentai, and I think they pulled that down. But they were totally cool with that kind of stuff like 10 years ago. Heard this series is going to be good. This anime will speedrun controversy. Yes, it will. Oh shit. Redo of Healer is getting a fucking anime. I can't wait for the media shitstorm this will bring. Second coming of Goblin Slayer. It's gonna be worse. It's already worse. A lot of the websites, though, that were throwing shade at Goblin Slayer, like Fangirls on Sci-Fi, yeah, they got shut down. But, Redo of Healer is edgy fucking garbage, but instead people just saying they don't like it and moving on. There's going to be a 2-month period where people are going to be obnoxious freaks about it and dedicate their time and energy talking about how much they hate it. We had this happen too with Uzaki-chan, like everything, it happens, it happens. Don't watch it. I'm not gonna get into a debate with people and talk about it. I mean, I personally have zero interest in watching this show, but I'm not gonna say it shouldn't exist. I just got done reading it. Holy fuck. This manga is not for the faint of heart. Yeah, I've seen pages. Everything else is fine, but if you like Redo of Healer, please get help. Please get some help. It's ungodly. Muting every single possible iteration of Redo of Healer unless I come across any screenshots from the complete version of the weirdos who actually watch it. Watch that edgelord trash. But hey, she's pretty. She got a little unicorn. Yeah, it sounds pretty bad, guys. I've seen some pages of the manga, and I am not, again, I personally am not interested. You're not going to see any kind of review of this show on the Clownfish TV YouTube channel. I'm not going to throw shade at people who watch it. You want to watch it, it's your cup of tea, that is on you. That being said, this is another example of controversial anime that is probably going to pave the way for more censorship. I can almost guarantee it. Now, Sentai Filmworks is distributing it. High Dive is distributing it. Anime News Network said they don't want anything to do with them. So I take it to mean that if they come knocking with ad money, they're going to turn it down, right? Because that's a moral thing to do. They're not going to advertise High Dive or Sentai Filmworks. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I'm going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.